Hey everybody, this is 5.5% part 2. So we're on the second example here. How do I write a fraction as a percent? So we just did percents to fractions, right? So just to do an easy one, something like 30%, we just take that percent, we turn it into divided by 100, we get 30 over 100, and then we reduce that to 3/10. But what if we want to start at 3/10 and go back to a percent? So here's how we write fractions as percents. We write fractions as percents by writing an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. Then write the numerator with the percent symbol. So 1/4, we need to write the denominator of 100. I think I said denominator. Did I say numerator? Anyways, denominator of 100. We need that 4 to be 100. We multiply by 25 to do that. But just like we've been doing, we're really going to multiply this fraction by a fraction with a value of 1. So we're going to multiply both the denominator and the numerator by 25, and I get 25 hundredths. Now that divided by 100, remember, divided by 100 is the same as a percent sign. So 25 hundredths is the same as 25%. So with something like this, 3/50ths, okay, if we want to write that as a percent, we just need to rewrite this with a denominator of 100. So 50 times 2 is 100. So we multiply 3 times 2 and we get 6. And I couldn't put the times 2 because I don't have space. So then this divided by 100 is a percent. So that becomes 6%. And then we have converted from a fraction into a percent. Now, in a lot of cases, it is not that easy. And they're going to give you weird numbers or weird fractions that don't have obvious ways to get to 100. And so we need to go over that issue. How does that work? So first, before we do that, let's go over this. We multiply the given fraction by fraction equal to 1, right? Its value is 1, to obtain an equivalent fraction with the denominator of 100. That's how we get into percent mode. And the number in the what part of this equivalent fraction is the percent? It's the numerator. The numerator becomes that percent, which it did. 6 became 6%. Okay, but it's not always that easy. And so we actually have one last conversion here, which is to go from we can actually do fraction, and then you can find that fraction's value, fraction to decimal, which is really the value, to percent. So we can go from fraction to decimal to percent, and it's rather easy to do that. We can use this example to show how. So drought affects 9 out of 12 Midwestern states. What percent of the Midwestern states are affected by the drought? Okay, so we have these states, they're affected by drought, looks like in the north. And so 9 out of 12, we can write that as a fraction. Now we're at a fraction, but we want to go to percent. On this one, it was easy. Don't write this, but you could see it was easy because we could just multiply by 2 to get 100. There's no easy way to multiply 12 to get 100. There is a factor we could multiply by to get 100, but it's not obvious. If you want to know what it is, the technique that I would suggest is take 100 on your calculator, divide by 12, and you will get this magical factor. So you can take 100 divided by 12. I'm doing it right now on my calculator. And I got 8.3 repeating. So I'd have to multiply both the denominator and the numerator by 8.3 repeating. And it's not working very well. But anyways, you're not writing this. This is just to show you, you could do what we did in the last problem, but it's not obvious how to get from 12 to 100. So we're going to have to do something else. And here's what I suggest in this case. Really, a fraction can be turned into a decimal by writing what we think of as a unit rate. So the value of this fraction is found by doing 9 divided by 12. So if I do 9 divided by 12, I get 0 and 75 hundredths. So I can convert from fraction to value or decimal by dividing 9 divided by 12. Now, the thing is, that's actually the unit rate. If you divide 12 by 12 to get 1, 12 by 12 to get 1, and you divide 9 by 12, you get 0.75. So really, you're finding the unit rate. That's all it is. So what we're going to do here is essentially divide the numerator by the denominator, get 0.75 over 1. Now, why is that helpful? Because if we want to write a percent means per divided by 100. So how do I get from 1 to 100? I multiply by 100. And of course, then I have to multiply 0.75 by 100. I might be able to squeeze it in there. Okay, I did. And multiplying by 100, you may remember that that number 0.75 is going to get bigger. Well, how much bigger? Well, multiplied by 10 is 1 decimal place. Multiplied by 100 is 2 decimal places. So you get 75 over 100, which we write as 75%. Now, typically, we wouldn't show all of this work. We would just do this. 9 divided by 12 is equal to 75 hundredths. And then we know to get from decimal to a percent, we multiply by 100. That's how we do it. In fact, I call it D2P. If you're starting at a decimal and you want to go to a percent, starting at a decimal, move the decimal places 2 spaces to the right. See, we're starting at D, we're going right to percent. So 1, 2, that's 75%. Now, you could do the same thing to go from percent to decimal. If you start at the percent, you'd move 2 decimal places to the left to get the decimal. So 75% has a little decimal right there. You'd move that over to the left twice. So 75% must be the same as 0.75 or 75 hundredths. Okay, remember, a percent is a blank ratio. A percent is an equivalent ratio. That's all it is. It's just another ratio that just has 100 in the denominator. The part is 9 and the whole is 12. And then, of course, we showed how we did the different ways to get from 9/12 to 75%. All right, everybody, hopefully that will help you do your homework. Please email me if you have any questions, and have an excellent day.